just the automations piece. That's what you really want to try to figure out in your business is how do I automate as much of this as possible that should be automated, right? Like we're in this new era of AI, and there's some things that you should absolutely be human for, I believe. And so the mundane tasks of connecting to products together and getting people onto email lists, that stuff should absolutely be automated so you can focus on doing the human things that need to be done, like connecting with your clients and even just being available for your clients in the DMs. I think I'm seeing a lot of bots out there now. And
Hello, and welcome to episode 6 of Health Hustlers Happy Hour. I am Jacqueline, marketing strategist and copywriter for Health Coaches.
And I'm Jackie. I'm a health habits coach that helps you hack your brain with psychology. And today we are talking about how to automate your business using technology, which is near and dear to me and Jacqueline's heart. It's because we both work full time. And I imagine if you're listening to this podcast, you are probably in a similar situation. And who doesn't want to save time running their business? So let's get into it. We want to kind of structure the talk today around, there's specific tools that I use that Jacqueline's either using or planning to use for her business that have helped with essentially automating, creating, automations in the background or using essentially ways to like kind of shortcut your time, like save you time. And then talking about too how we're structuring some of the business strategy, so some of the products and services that we're offering, so that we also save ourselves time and set ourselves up for not being overloaded and super stressed out when we run our business. So let's talk about the tech first, if that sounds good with you, Jacqueline. The tools, essentially the tech tools. So in my background, I work at a technology company, so it's funny because when I first started, I met all these people that I work with, like designers and engineers, and they're obsessed with tools. And I just kind of, I started as a writer, and I was like, I just need a Word doc. Like, what? Like, I don't understand these people. Like, this is ridiculous. Just absolutely obsessed. And they would spend a ton of time assessing new products, like constantly, like every year. I think, as a designer, it was Adobe to, I can't remember, there was one product and now we're using Figma, but it was this constant evolution of different design tools. And I was like, this is just, there's so much learning curve to every tool. But now I would say being a business owner, tools are everything. And it also gets you in the habit of spending money a lot. Like I have a list of like probably 20 tools and I have subscriptions to them. And sometimes it hurts, like, I'm like, oh, I got to get another tool like this. But it's like, it makes your life so much easier. So absolutely worth the time savings. That opportunity cost is real. So anyway,
agreed.
yeah. So Jacqueline and I both we'll start with tool number 1. And it's kind of a website / funnels / lead magnet tool, if you will. And it's called FG Funnels. Jacqueline, I feel like you've taken courses from the women that created this tool, right?
Yes, I took a short course. Yeah.
A short course. Okay. Yeah. So it's basically, I think it's technically considered a CRM. But anyway, so
Okay.
I learned about FG Funnels through a business coach I hired, and it was to essentially create a micro site. So I have Squarespace for my website. What website host do you have? Or you don't have a website, right?
I do. I have WordPress.
Okay, WordPress, perfect. So usually it's Squarespace, WordPress, maybe Wix, I think are the tools. So I created that. I had my Squarespace one, but then I was getting into this, trying to sell low ticket courses, low ticket offers. And this business coach was like, oh, you need this product called FG Funnels. And we'll link it in the show notes. There's also other competitors, but this woman was very adamant that I use FG Funnels. And she was right. I mean, this is a tool that I've been able to use and repurpose for so many different things. Like the wait list that we just talked about for HHA in the last episode. I have literally like a mini landing page that takes me there. But what the main reason for FG Funnels over all these other CRM products and tools or website hosting tools is, well, I think in the case of using meta ads like Facebook ads, it's very compatible with that. That's what she didn't tell me that for a long time, and I don't think she understood why I was so confused by why I had to use this tool because it's pretty expensive,
Yeah.
because it includes so much stuff, right? It's not just creating funnels. I think there's like email, you can do email marketing through them. Gosh, I can't even remember everything. Like you can have subscription, you can have like your whole subscription platform hosted through there. All these other tools, like even contracts, like I use Honeybook right now, but you can do contracts through FG Funnels. So it's designed to be an all-in-one tool, which is why it's so expensive. But I'm really only using personally, I'm only using it for the funnels piece, the websites, the lead magnet forms, all that stuff. So anyway, it's templatized, so you don't have to design anything. It's a no-code design tool, website building tool, essentially microsite building tool.
Mhm.
And you can generate. I think I created it for my first, so the Bounce Body Blueprint, my low ticket offer. We have it for our HHA website. But what you do is you link it to your current website. So like my domain. So Jackie Porter Health was one of my domains. Now it's thehabitheroine.com, and I just link all these websites to that domain, as subdomains essentially. And so now
Mhm.
you can have all these different places to send people and not have to spend a ton of time trying to code or design. And the nice thing I think is because they come from that marketing background, right? Like
Mhm.
I think the woman, she worked for Richard Brunson. Was that the
I think so. I can't read. There's a designer and then there's a copywriter, and I can't remember which one worked for him, but it definitely one of them.
Okay, yeah. So basically, they just are giving you like forms, like lead magnet forms that are optimized to get people to sign up. So when
Hmm.
in the behavioral science world, all that friction and thinking through all those little details, and they just have thought of everything. And so that tool is incredibly helpful. But the automations piece is it's like the back end piece of this tool. That's what's been really, really great. So it's like when I get someone to sign up for like they either give me their email for a lead, then I have the ability to set up an automation so I connect FG Funnels to my Active Campaign, which we'll talk about in a little bit, which is an email marketing tool. And so now anytime someone signs up for a lead magnet, it automatically adds them to an email list that I have, so I can place them in the right email list and send them the right types of emails. So that's been incredibly helpful in terms of just I don't have to go in there manually and look like, ooh, who did my, who signed up today or who bought my product today. It just automatically has a way for me to connect all these different tools that I use. Which brings me to the next tool, which is Zapier.
Hmm.
And that one is the kind of the hub and spoke. It's like the hub that connects all the tools out there together. And because of using FG Funnels, I had to get Zapier. So that's the one kind of downside. But I mean, it's a reality when you're a business owner, an online business, excuse me, a business owner, you have to go and buy, use all these different tools. And now you
Hmm.
just want a way for them to talk to each other. And that's what Zapier is. So highly recommend using that if you're not already. Again, there's a little bit of, I guess, a learning curve to that one. But what I will say, and this is one of the really big benefits of FG Funnels, is their help, their chat. So they have 24/7 live support, but Monday through Friday is their true support is there, and they will do anything for you. They'll code you a new, if you want something to look a certain way, they'll send it to their design team and they'll actually code you a special page or a special form, which is incredible. So, and they will help you learn how to use Zapier too. Like I went on I think it was like a brown bag lunch thing with one of the guys that works there, and he taught me how to use and connect my I think it was Bounce Body Blueprint pricing or checkout page to Zapier to Active Campaign to Zenler, all that stuff. So anyway, very
That's
helpful
awesome.
support, which I think
Hmm.
is worth the money to spend on that. So
I think so
anyway,
too. Yeah. I know, as I grow and learn from more copywriters, anyone who's selling a course or any sort of automation in their business, they're using the same thing. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I know I had never heard of FG funnels, but
mhm,
I'm also this is a new world for me. I come from a technology world, but I've never been in sales before. So
right.
I think sales and marketing. I did a little bit of marketing for my full time job a while back, but this was not. I was a writer for an internal product, so it wasn't. Nothing along those lines. So it was all new to me. I just couldn't
Mhm,
wrap my mind around the cost of it at first, but it's
mhm,
definitely been worth it. And just the automations piece, that's what you really want to try to figure out in your business is how do I automate as much of this as possible that should be automated, right? Like we're in this new
mhm,
era of AI, and there's some things that you should absolutely be human for, I believe.
mhm,
And so the mundane tasks of connecting to products together and getting people onto email lists, that stuff should absolutely be automated so you can focus on doing the human things that need to be done, like connecting with your clients and even just being available for your clients in the DMs. I'm seeing a lot of bots out there now and
mhm,
uh, virtual assistants. Like, I don't know. Anyway, so that's the point of automation. So you can scale yourself. So we talked about Zapier, FG funnels. I think Active Campaign is the next one on my list.
mhm.
And I'm curious too, Jacqueline, if you're going to, because I know you're working on freebies and developing your email list. Do you think you're going to use Active Campaign or do you have another product in mind for email marketing? Because you are the expert in email marketing. So I'm curious.
Well, it's funny. I haven't researched the different products yet.
Hmm.
And I know that different products uh, have different benefits, obviously. So I haven't. I hear a lot about ClickUp
Yeah.
and I've been in your Active Campaign
Hmm.
product or account. So I'm starting to familiarize myself with that one. So I will most likely choose it. I don't know that there's a wrong way to go necessarily. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, and this is what I always try to tell people at my full time job. The products that I've found are through it's authoritative recommendation. So
Mhm.
again, that business coach I hired, she was like, you need Active Campaign. And that, like a good little girl that I was like, okay, I'm going to get Active Campaign. I didn't question that one. I didn't question. I think the FG funnels just because the price tag I questioned, but
Right.
at the end of the day, I ended up getting it anyway. So I think with Active Campaign, you know, it was just simply that I heard her tell me about it and I'd heard others. I think so Jill Coleman was another business coach. I did her more like DIY business coaching, but she used and maybe still uses gosh, what is that? I was telling you about it the other day, Jacqueline. I can't remember the name of it now. Maybe I'll remember and put it in the show notes. But that
Mm,
one was
mhm,
it was very free friendly. It was so if you're just
mhm.
starting out, that's one that, and I wish I had the name of it. That would actually be
I think,
helpful
is
for
it
all.
Mailchimp?
It's not Mailchimp. Mailchimp
Mailchimp,
does
because
have some free, but it's
yeah,
not totally free.
I
Um,
remember you saying it now, and I don't think I recognized the name of it.
the name, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll put it in the show notes. I can maybe look it up in a second here, but let me check on my iPad see if I can. But anyway, I think you're just starting out. It was definitely a helpful way for me to just get my foot in the door, just get that momentum going. But I will say that I once I kind of got into Active Campaign, the benefits and features of it, excuse me, were much easier to use than what I was using on this other product. So I think if you're willing to pay, yeah, I'm not even seeing it on this list here because I think Constant Contact is one that a lot of people talk
Mhm.
about. But anyway, I'll find it and I'll put it in the show notes or go listen to, go ask Jill Coleman if you're in the health space. She can recommend that product to you. But anyway, definitely. I think what that product was missing was the automations piece, and
Mhm.
that's what I needed to essentially start using. And so they have a really, really easy, user friendly automation section, and that's essentially where once I get someone on an email list, I can automatically send them a lead nurture campaign, right, Jacqueline, where it's like 7 to 10 emails
Hmm.
And, it's personalized based on where they're coming from. So if they came from a specific freebie, we'll put them in one of those and it'll just send out like you can choose how long you delay the emails, like 1 day, 6 days, whatever it is. So that, you're starting to nurture them without them having to wait for that one email, that weekly newsletter essentially.
Yeah.
So that's been really helpful. I'm sorry, you're hearing my annoying dogs barking in the background. Always choose the best times.
Yeah.
Then let's see. So we've got FG funnels. So that's like getting leads, getting people to purchase. Zapier that connects all the products, active campaigns, email marketing, and then obviously, like you have social media. That's how you get other leads, how you generate other business. There's not a whole lot you can automate with social media, unfortunately. Even
Yeah.
the production of content it's tough. Like there's a little bit of like chat GPT that you can help with brainstorming, but I will say that that's been the biggest mountain I've had to climb. And
Mhm.
the biggest reality is like you just got to do it and you got to practice it, and you start to form little like heuristics and hacks to simplify that process a little bit. But right now there's not a whole lot of not many ways to automate that process, unfortunately. So that's again like why it's so important to have all these other tools in place so that you can maximize your time spent doing that, writing quality emails. Like again, like we've talked about this in other episodes too, like using chat gpt to write emails. Like there's no way that I can get it to replicate the type of emails Jacqueline writes, because we're
Mhm.
talking about like real stories, real emotions, real human experiences. That ChatGPT, I just think it's good at business, like writing like research proposals and just businessy type of content, and producing and giving you information, but not doing that humanized approach. So anyway, I think that's unfortunately there's no way currently around automating those pieces of your business, but
No, I don't know. Do you use a scheduler? I know you do, don't you?
yeah, that's a great
Okay.
question. I was using a scheduler, and I think I already disconnected, or like I still have many months left on it, but I just did not renew. I took my credit card off, so I'm not renewing it, because I did
Hmm.
hire a social media like coach for a month just to help me work on essentially processes, like creating my own like social media habits, social media content creation habits,
Hmm.
refining that process a bit. So now I have a better strategy and approach. And I think the big thing I took away was, well, I moved it all over to Notion, my planning.
Hmm.
So it was called Loomly, and
That's right.
it was great, but it was just like there are limitations to it. What it was amazing for was reposting, recycling posts.
Hmm.
Because then I could just be like, oh, I don't have a post today and I don't have time. And I could just go like a few months back, maybe look at some analytics on that post and be like, cool, I'm going to repost this for today. And it
Hmm.
was like 2 clicks, like
Yeah.
super easy, versus if you want to recycle a post and you don't have that scheduler there, then you have to kind of go back into the archives of either, like right now I store everything in Canva and Notion. And so I have to go and search for that and actually physically repost it and go into the platform. But I think it's going to be worth it to do that, because what my social girl was saying was that the apps favor organic posting from their apps. They're not a
Yeah.
big fan of these automating posters.
Hmm.
Unfortunately. So it's a great
Yeah.
question. The best automation is that I can schedule a post 2 weeks in advance. And that's as far, at least on Instagram. And I
Hmm.
think TikTok might be even less. I
Hmm.
actually, for TikTok, I don't even schedule, or because I think in the app, I think online, on a desktop, they allow you to schedule, but on mobile, they don't. So I just keep everything in draft. And then I have a habit of every morning I go in there and just post one
Hmm.
post a day. Whereas on Instagram, I have it scheduled because for that that's mostly where my audience is at, and my the most paying type of clients are there. So I definitely try to schedule it at like early in the morning or afternoon after people get off work. So I have those times kind of slated out. So
Right.
that's the most I can do with automation for Instagram and social media right now, at least. So
Yeah. That's probably the most time consuming.
it is, yeah,
I would love
absolutely.
to be able to automate all that.
I know. And I know I think it's gonna get better. I think there will
Mhm.
be, well, I say that, I think the content creation stuff could potentially get better in terms of automation. And Jacqueline and I have been talking, and this is a whole nother episode that I don't wanna go down this. It's a rabbit hole to go down, but using AI to help you with filming your own content, basically like recreating yourself as an AI. That's so out there and weird, but it is real. There is just, yeah, I think that's what's gonna potentially happen long term, is that we're gonna get to that point where all you have to do is feed it a script, and then it's gonna reproduce, you looking like you're a real person, even though you're not
Right.
in that moment. So, okay. And then I think there was, let's see, what else? Sorry, I'm getting my notes here. There was one other product I wanted to talk about, and I believe, oh yeah, so Meta ads. I think I touched on that. I mean, that's how and actually
Mm.
that was in the last episode I mentioned. That's how I'm generating leads, email leads.
Mhm.
So I would say it's a form of automation because it's not this like constant having to be in the DMs with people on social media and trying to get them to manually add themselves to my email list. So it's really, I created, the ideal is you have 2 to 3 freebies, and then you advertise them on Meta ads and you use the lead generator option. And I'm spending money every day though. So that's the thing. You got to have the heart, or like the stomach for it. And I don't spend a ton anymore. I was spending a lot. And so I think I went from like a couple hundred people to, I now have like over 2 or 3 thousand people on it. And not all of them are very active. So I've got, I think 800 of those people are super active, like very warm leads that Jacqueline and I work on selling to. So I suppose you could say that Meta ads is an option for automating that process of getting email leads that people that you can sell to. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think that's pretty much it in terms of, I mean, there's definitely, like, I think we talked about HoneyBook. It's not 100% automated, but it is automated in the sense that you're able to send people like a package of your contract, and then right then and there it leads them into um, the invoice, and then they can pay right then, right in this whole process without having to do multiple touch points with them in one. You get on a sales call and they seem like they're interested. They say yes, you create this contract through HoneyBook that includes the invoice and payment option. You send it to them, it goes through email. It's very secure. And then
Mhm.
it's all one and done versus like, okay, here's step one, here's the contract. Okay, cool. They signed the contract. Now I can send them the invoice. All right, now I can send them the payment option. So in that sense, it's more automated from the client side than it is on your side, but certainly helps with saving both parties time, I would say. So,
Yeah,
and I know,
I think
Jacqueline,
so.
you've used HoneyBook in the past, right?
I have. And I think, we talked about, from a copywriter's perspective, I think that will most likely be outside of Active Campaign, um, will most likely be really the only automated tool I probably use, other than ChatGPT.
Yeah.
I do use ChatGPT in like outlines for my emails. Um, but like you said, it never quite comes out the way I want it to. And I
I
don't
know.
think it ever will.
Yeah.
But it definitely saves me time.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I don't think I will use anything outside of HoneyBook and Active Campaign for emails.
Yeah. For emails. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
good. And then are you thinking you're going to, because I know you're working on some freebies. Are you going to,
yeah.
what's your approach for that tool?
I'm honestly not sure yet. I will most likely create a freebie, um, about maybe niching down or marketing of some sort, um, just to get people on my email list, send out, a weekly or bi-weekly. Um, marketing newsletter probably. Um, but you know, I'm still nailing down exactly what I want to offer
Yeah.
and try to figure out a system where I can, I hear a lot of freelance copywriters and they kind of take whatever jobs come, and I think it's tough. A lot of them haven't niched down.
Mhm.
And I kind of want to go into it with a bit of a structure and
Yeah.
knowing exactly, um, so I can automate as much as possible, just so I'm not all over the place.
Well, I mean, bring up a good point because if you don't have a niche, then it makes it harder to automate even your emails
Yeah.
or any communications that you have because then you're having to constantly think like, oh, like, I mean, and I feel like I've done this for a while of like, oh, well, I serve this person and this person. So now I need to figure out a total, and even
Mhm.
coming up with your freebies. It's like
Yes.
you want to make sure that you're niched down so that the freebie just really hits home
Right.
and it does its job versus trying to appease to everyone. And but niching down is so hard. We need an entire episode on that you can talk literally about because I know for sure I'm not the only person that feels that niching down is so hard. I've even had it. There's this girl, Carrie, I know that was like, I just don't understand it. Like, I just feel like it's so hard and it's impossible to do.
Yeah.
And so I think we would be in good company to have a good conversation about that. And you could definitely, so much about it. And you're the reason that I've been able to actually niche down and get specific because otherwise I would just keep trying to like do more, which
Yeah.
unfortunately, when you work at a big company, it's always about doing more and serving more people. And right now, like that's just not where we're at. So
Yeah. Definitely.
anyway. Cool. Well, I think that about covers the tech of automating the business. I know we were going to
Mhm.
kind of touch on like creating self-sustaining products as another
Mhm.
way to automate the business, and we did touch on it in the last episode, which was around Health Habits Accelerator, the group coaching program that Jacqueline and I are working on launching. By the time this episode comes out, it'll already have been launched, but essentially, there's another version of it where it's like it's just a self-sustaining product where I'm not live ever. Right now I'm live with the group, but it could just be a product standalone because it's got an online course attached to it. So that's kind of how we're thinking about essentially what I think. I mean, you can talk about it because you know more, you know how to describe this stuff better than myself, but basically creating evergreen products is what we're talking about for self-sustaining.
Yeah. Yeah. And the automation piece is obviously essential. Um, because the entire point of creating an evergreen course is so it can kind of run in the background. Um, so,
Yeah,
all those
what do you
automated,
mean by that with running in the background for those that don't know?
um, yeah, it essentially at the top of your funnel, you're going to have ads that are going to funnel cold audiences into an email sequence of, I mean, it can be anywhere from 7 to 20 emails. And at the end of that funnel, they have the option to purchase your evergreen course, which
Uh,
they will just walk through DIY. Um, and they're able to access that at any time. So anytime anyone comes across your ad, that puts them into that funnel.
mhm.
So essentially, you could be someone could be purchasing that evergreen product at any time of the year. There's no launch required.
Okay.
So, like I said, it's just constantly people are being funneled into that all the
Yeah.
time.
And it's if they're like they're just ready to buy, like they're
Yeah,
hot, hot, hot. Like maybe they're a cold lead, but like they're super motivated and so they're ready to buy versus having to make them wait for these live launches essentially.
right. Yeah, and it's typically a lower priced product.
Yeah.
So, people are more likely to purchase without having necessarily a personal touch point with you.
Yeah. Which, because we're working full time, like this is again why it's important to do something like this. I mean,
Hmm.
you have to make your business work for you and for your life. And so I know, I mean, we talked about this. I have a friend that's a health coach and he's got hundreds of clients, one-on-one clients, and he's talking to these people every single day. And my mind is blown by that concept because I'm like, I don't even know how I would do that.
Right.
And I also don't know how I would provide value, like real value to people if I was having to talk to 100 people a day. So anyway, this is about creating something that one is affordable because, one-on-one coaching is not cheap by any means. So it's creating affordability, more access to healthcare for lower price points, which is also a mission of mine personally. Like I know that affordable healthcare is essential for a society that is clearly unhealthy, and so I think kind of allows me to do both. So
Yeah,
and then I think
it's truly. Oh, I'm sorry. Truly passive income.
Yeah, you're right. Passive income for sure, and I think it also allows people to build trust with you. So they may not want to buy your really expensive one-on-one coaching in the moment, when they first meet you, meet you online, they discover you online. So you give them a lower cost product, but highly valuable. And then it's like, now that we can work them up the funnel. So my client, like if I get someone in HHA Evergreen, they can either upgrade to the live version, which we talked about last time. They'll just pay the difference if they're interested in doing the live version of it, or they can go to one-on-one coaching. And now you've just extended the lifetime value of that customer, which is huge. And you get them at a higher price point because now they trust you. And so, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I think that probably wraps this up, right? We've kind of covered all the automating your business while you work full time so that you can work smarter, not harder, essentially.
Yes. Yes. And I think our next episode is the how many of these tools do you purchase in order to make it
God.
worth to make it worth it in your business?
In my existence.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, talking money and spending money on your business.
Yes.
It's gonna be it's a fun one. I mean, I love talking about money. So
yeah, this will be a good one. So yes, join us for the next episode.
All right, we'll see y'all then. Take care.
Yeah. See you later.